command object query. All these things has to be done in the .NET, but here it's not required because the application itself is working once the connection is open. The ERP application itself is working once the connection is open. That means if there is no SQL, there is no ERP application here. So the explicitly opening the connection is not required here. The connection is already open, just we have to do the database transactions. Okay, and here once you create a form, the form should have the controls which are bounded to the database. You should not have the controls which are unbounded to the database. Okay, right now yesterday we have created a table. One object we have covered yesterday, that is a table creation. Okay, still we have all these things. This will come in the coming classes. Based on the requirement, we'll go on covering all these topics. We have the field groups, indexes, full text index, relation, delete action, methods. Okay, now we'll create a form. Here, while creating a form, the form name and the table name should be the same here. The form name and table name should be same here. That is a standard that we follow here, because each and every form is bounded to a particular table. So to identify to which table this form belongs to identify that, we will create the form name and table name as the same names. Even the standard Dynamics ERP application shows the same thing. This is the actual application AOT. In AOT, we see the tables. You can see accountant BR is a table. In the forms, you can see accountant BR as a form. Okay, the standard name will be followed here, the table name and form name. In order to avoid confusion of which form this table this form belongs to and which form this table belongs to. Okay, to avoid that confusion, they create the table name and form name as the same names. Okay, so here to create a form, right click on the form. Yeah.
Banu, I have one question. Hi. So if there will be no need for getting data from multiple tables into one form.
Yeah, you will have that scenario also. That you will do using the query.
So in that case, like what the form name should be like?
If I'm bringing from no. Let me complete that.
Okay.
If you are getting the data from multiple tables, okay, that has to be done using the query. When you write the query, once the form is designed, you'll write the query. Right now, you'll not write any query. Once the form is designed, you'll write the query in the form methods or button clicks or whatever it may be.
No, but what should be the name of the form then?
Name of the form will be the first table name what you are creating.
So even if it's multiple tables, then the first table should be the name of the form, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Right click on the form, new, and say form name. Okay, we got the form option here. And here I'm saying form name as and here to design a form, a bounded form, the form should have some source. Okay, bounded form means it should be bounded to the table. The table name is the dstock. Dstock is another object. I mean, dstock, it is existing in the data dictionary tables object, but form is in the forms object. Okay, so this form should have the table as a source to create a design. Okay, so here actually to get the source for the form, we need to fill the data source with the table name. Okay, we need to fill the data source with the table name. So what we'll do is, we'll just drag this table into the data source. We'll drag this table into the data source. Now the form data source is ready, but the design is still not yet ready. If you see the form, we did not have any controls. This form is ready. Design is not yet ready. So to create a design, we have to go to the designs object. Okay, here in Dynamics, the design format will be, it will be like this. It will be in the tabular format only. Whatever design you take, it will be in the grids or in the tabular formats. Okay. So we'll create a design in the similar model. We'll create a form. In the form, we'll place a tab control, tab container. In tab container, we'll place 2 tab pages. In one tab page, we'll place a grid control. In another tab page, we will leave it like that. It's a general tab page. Okay. So in the design, right click on the design, new control. First we'll place a tab container. I'm placing a tab container. In the tab container, I'll place 2 tab pages. Right click, new tab page. Again, right click, new tab page. Okay. Are you getting me? Rakesh. Here, Rakesh, Rajesh, Srinivas, are you getting me?
Yeah.
Yes, Banu.
Okay,
Yes,
here I have created a tab page, tab container. In the tab container, I have created 2 tab pages. Okay. Now, in the tab page, in the first tab page, I'll give the name.
Oh no, we can't hear you.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. The second tab page, I'm giving the name as general and caption as general. Whenever I make some changes in the form, I'm getting this red line. Did you observe this? I'm getting this red line. The red line means the form is not yet saved. Okay. Okay. So if you want to say, if you save the form, then the red line will be gone. See here, I'm making one more change here. Right click, in the overview tab page, I'm placing a grid control. New grid control. See, I got the line. If I save this line will be gone. Anywhere in any object, if you get this red line, that indicates that that is not yet saved. Okay. So we got the grid control in the tab page. in the other tab page I left it empty without any grid control. So we are creating a form in this manner. Overview and general. Overview means we will get a grid, and general means it will be like this. Okay. Overview, we got a grid control. So in the grid control, now we need to place the fields of the table. Okay. The fields that belongs to table cannot be dragged from the table directly, because the table object is different and the form object is different. As the objects are different, we got the data source in the form. To create a communication between the table and the form, we got the data source. So we will drag the fields from the data source. Dstock ID, click and drag it. Dstock name, click and drag it. Dstock quantity, Dstock order date, Dstock amount. Okay. In the grid we have placed some fields. That means this belongs to the overview. And in the general tab page, Dstock ID, stock name, quantity, order date, save this. Okay, now the form is ready with your custom design. Okay, so to open the form, let's click on the form and say open. The form is ready with the 2 tab pages. This is a tab container and with the 2 tab pages. Overview and general. Okay, is this clear? Any questions? Srinivas Reddy, Rajesh, Rakesh.
No, Banu, not yet. I have one question. Okay, if you click the if you create one tab like overview, I think general tab will come automatically, right? That general data.
See, the general data it belongs to 1001. Right now the control is in the 1001. You will get the 1001 data. If you click on 1002, this data will come here.
Right.
1003, this data will come here. Okay.
Okay. Okay, Banu.
Okay. Now we have the standard form like this. Okay, the standard form, you can see the minimize button is enabled, maximize is disabled, and close is enabled. And you can see the form, it cannot be maximized, that means it cannot be resized. If you go to the corners of the form, it is not showing the resize control. It is not showing the resize control. That means you cannot resize the form. This is the standard size of the form. Okay. Suppose you want to resize the form, we have some properties to be set for the form design. So go to the design, click on the design. In the design you have width as auto and height as auto. So make it as column width and height as a column height. Save this. Click on the tab. Make it as a column width, height as a column height. Okay, in the design and in the tab container we have made the column width and column height properties. Okay, now if you open the form, you can see the maximize button. If you click on the maximize button, the form will be maximized, but the grid is still in the same size. So what you will do is expand the tab page, grid control, as column width, height as column height. Save it. Okay, the grid has come to the normal form size. This is general tab, overview tab. Now you can see the resize button. You can see the control. Resize control has come. Now you can resize the form whichever size you want. Okay. Fine. Now, this is one feature in the forms resizing. Okay. And suppose generally in the ERP application, if you take any table in the ERP application, the columns in the table will have more than 20 or 30 columns. It will not be like this. So here in any ERP application you will be having more than 20 to 30 columns. Okay. So suppose if you take this form, assume that this is having some 20 columns. Assume that this is having some 20 columns. Okay. And the first column is the stock quantity, second column is this one, third column is this one, fourth column is something else, and you have the stock ID and stock quantity at the some 15th position. Okay. Now by seeing this row, can you say to which ID, I mean to which stock this row belongs to? By seeing this row, can you say this? First column is quantity, second column is this one, third column is this one, and fourth is something else. Like that we are having some 20 columns are there. Okay, and our stock ID and stock name are at the 15th and 16th position. Now by seeing this column, by seeing this row, can you say to which stock this row belongs to? Can you say that? We can't say, because they are at somewhere else. We have to drag and we have to see this row belongs to this stock ID, this row belongs to this stock ID. That will be a difficult task. So to avoid that confusion, we have a feature called a title fields on the form. Okay. For that, what you need to do is go to the tables. Okay. Click on the table In the table you will be having title field 1 and title field 2. Okay, so here what you will do is click on the title field 1, give dstock ID, click on the title field 2, dstock name. Now here we are getting the red line. Save this. Okay. Now go to the form, go to the design. Okay. In the designs, go to click on the design. In the design, you will be having a property called title data source. Click on the title data source, you will get the data source. That is dstock. Click on this. Save this. Now if I open the form, okay, say assume that we are having the form like this, and if you click on this, you can easily say that this stock belongs, this row belongs to 1001 LG because that is displayed here. 1001 LG is displayed on the form title. If you click here, you can see that is displayed here. If you click here, you can see it is displayed here. This is a title fields, giving the title fields for the form. Okay. If you have n number of rows, you click on any row, the title field will be displayed for that particular row on the form. Any questions? Rajesh, Rakesh?
Banu, there is lot of background noise. Can you ask everybody else to mute when they are not asking questions?
Nothing, everybody has muted.
Okay, but I have one question. Okay, this one you
Srinivas,
said that,
Srinivas, are you hearing any background noise from the session?
no. Just now I am unmuted because I have one question. That's why.
Rakesh, are you hearing any background noise? Any disturbance for you? Rakesh? Hello, Rakesh?
Hello?
Yeah, Rakesh.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. Any disturbance for you? Background disturbance?
No, I don't hear any disturbance.
Rajesh, we don't find any disturbance, Rajesh. Okay, Srinivas, tell me, what is your question?
Yeah. My question is like you set up as a title field, right?
Yeah.
Those fields are like for primary keys, like it is you said.
No. Still, we did not go to the primary keys. We did not go into the deep.
Okay.
Still, we did not go into the primary keys. Still, there is a lot more to go. Okay.
Okay.
This is only just a simple form design.
Okay.
Okay. We'll be creating the forms and creating the controls on the forms. Okay. Right. Now, we have created a few controls as of now. We have created a tab container. We have created a tab pages. These are also controls. We have created a grid control. This is one of the control. And all other controls like text box, label box, they have been created automatically once you drag the controls onto the data source. You see here, general, we got the labels, text boxes automatically. The grid we have created. Okay. Now I want to create one more control like checkbox. I want to create a checkbox. So to create a checkbox, what I'll do is in the tables, fields, we have a data type called enum. We have a data type called enum. Click on the enum. Okay, enum, you give the name as enum is nothing but it's a enumerator which contains the number of elements. It's a enumerator. Enum is a enumerator. It is one of the data type here. Okay, here I have given the enum type as a name as a availability. Okay, and enum type I am giving as NoS. Enum type I am giving as NoS. This is a default enum. This is a default enum from the system enumerator. NoS is a default.
Banu, sorry for interrupt. Okay, I have one more question. Okay, can I enter more than 2 values? Like no, yes, something like.
Yes. You can create your own enumerator. I'll tell you that also.
Okay.
How to create your own enumerator, I'll tell you that also.
Okay.
No worries. Okay, this is a system defined enum, NoS, which will create a checkbox in the system. Okay, once this is ready, in the table fields, availability is ready. Okay, Rajesh, still you are experiencing any disturbances? Rajesh,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Still you are getting any disturbances?
No, I was using earphones and that background noise was more. Now I'm on speaker now.
No, the thing is, if you use the speakers, okay, my voice will come outside and again my voice will go into the mic as an input, so that you'll get more disturbance. That is the reason you have to use the headphones.
Yeah, the headphones are more. I'm hearing more noise on headphones. Now it is good for me.
If you remove the headphones, it's okay?
Yeah, it's good for me. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Here, we got the field. In the fields, we got the availability field. Okay. Now, I want to place this availability into my design. I want to place availability into my form design. I want to place it here. In the grid, I want to place the checkbox. In the general, I want to place the checkbox. Okay. Now, generally, to place the controls on the grid or in the general tab page, from where we are dragging the controls?
Data source.
From the data source. But we don't have the availability in the data source. Can you see the availability field in the data source?
No.
We cannot see the availability in the data source. That is there in the table. And here you cannot drag the availability directly into the data source. It will not accept. It is not accepting. Okay, and availability you cannot place directly into the design also. Into the form design grid, you cannot drag the availability directly here also. It will not accept. So what you do is, to get this availability field into the data source, in data source we don't have this availability. To get this availability data source, right click on the form and say restore. If you say restore means the synchronization will take place and the availability will come into the data source. If you say form restore, this is just like a refreshing, restore. If you open the data source, go to the fields, now you can see the availability field here. Okay, now go to the design, click the design, go to the tab page, click the tab page, go to the grid, drag this availability into the grid now. It will accept. This is the accepting icon. previously we got the circle and cross mark, that is not accepted. And the same availability I am placing it into the general tab page also. Save it. Okay. Now if I open the form, you can see the availability checkbox. This is checked here, this is unchecked, and this is checked here, This is a placing a simple checkbox on the form, okay, with the help of a enumerator no yes. Okay, is this clear? Srinivas.
Yes, Banu.
Okay. If you have any questions, you can unmute and you can ask me. Rakesh, Srinivas, Rajesh.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I have a question for this one. So every time we make a modification to the fields, so we need to, for the tables, so we have to refresh it, right? Every time we make changes in the tables in the middle.
It is a good practice to refresh it every time when you do some changes. It is a good practice.
But on the designs page, on the designs page, we haven't dragged the checkbox field onto one of the onto the overview page, I think, but it automatically got synced.
No. We have dragged it
Onto both the tabs, right?
Yeah. We have dragged into the grid.
Okay. On both of them, okay.
Yeah, I have dragged into the grid as well as into the tab page.
Okay.
Without dragging, you will not get into the grid. Okay.
Okay. So probably the data source is syncing, right? So the data source
data source will be synced with the table. Yes.
Okay, got it now. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, fine. Now, in the same way, if you want to create a drop-down box, okay, in the drop-down box also we have to make use of the enumerator only. For creating a drop-down box, we have to make use of enumerator. But as a drop-down will contain number of elements, we have to create that enumerator explicitly. That is with the help of this base enums. We have to create the drop-down explicitly with the help of this base enums and add that into the form. Okay. Now, what I will do is I will create a base enum. That means I will create a new enumerator. That means our custom enumerator. What you have asked earlier, how do you create number of elements? I am creating a custom enumerator base enum and I am giving the name as BCT. Here, right click on the base enum, new element. First element is none. Second element, third element, fourth element, and I am saving this base enum. Now it got saved. Okay, base enum got saved. Now I want to place this base enum as a drop down into the design field, design grid. Okay, Actually, from if you want the control to be placed on the grid, from where we have to take the control? We have to take the control from the data source, right? From the data source. For the data source, from where the source is coming? For the data source, from where the source is coming? What is the source of the data source?
From table.
From the table, right? If you have the field in the table, then it can display in the data source, right? But in the table, you don't have this base enum. DCT is not there in the table. So you cannot display that into the data source directly. If it is not there, the DCT, you cannot place it into the fields directly. So what you will do is, you will drag this base enum into the table fields. So this becomes a new field in the table. Click this DCT and drag it into the fields. Save it. Now you got the table fields as a DCT. Now the same process. In the fields, you don't have the DCT. You have all the fields, you don't have the DCT. So right click on the form, say restore. Now you can see the DCT here. Okay. Here in the DCT, you can see the name is DCT and the enum type is our enum type that we have created, DCT. Previously for the checkbox, that is a system defined, NoES has been, we have given the NoES. But for this, we have created our own enum, our custom enum, that is DCT, that has been displayed here. So that we have placed into the table and we have restored the database, we got into the data source fields, DCT, and we have dragged into the, did we drag it? No. We will drag it into the grid. Click here and drag it into the grid. See, you got the combo box DCT. You drag this also, DCT into the general. Okay. Now open the form. See the DCT, initially we got it as a first element as a null. Like this, you'll get the drop down. The first element is Hyderabad, the second one is Chennai, the third one is Bangalore. Okay. Any questions? Rakesh, Srinivas, Rajesh?
No, Bhan.
Yeah, so how? Okay, Srinivas, you carry on, yeah. I'll ask after you.
Tell me, Srinivas.
No, Bhan, I don't have any questions. I'm good.
Okay. Rakesh, tell me.
Yeah. So as of now, we have added a drop-down box, right? Say, for example, if we wanted to, like change the values based on, the previous element selection. So that's going to be like dynamic. Like how do we change the drop-down values dynamically? Like, is that part of the next training, or we can't change it that way?
We can change it. That we have to do using the X++ coding. Using this wizards, we cannot change it.
Okay, got it.
There in the X++ coding, you'll be having some master tables. You can create a master tables and you can write the queries based on the selection you have done in the previous tab or previous drop down. You can select that through the query, and those elements you can dump into the drop downs.
Right. Got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Now, the other control we can place it over here is a radio button control. Okay, the radio button control, we cannot place it directly into the grid. The grid will not accept the radio button control. You can check it in any applications. You cannot place a radio button on a grid control. You can place it in the normal general button. Okay, so for the radio button control, what we can do is we have to make use of the enum type only for the radio button control also. We have to make use of the enum only. So we'll make use of the same enum what we have right now. DCT only. We'll make use of the DCT only for the radio button control. Okay. For the radio button control, what I will do is, we do not accept in the grid. So I'll go to the general tab page, right click, new control, and I will say radio button. I got the radio button control. Save it. Okay. Go to the properties of the radio button control. Properties. Here you will get the data source. Data source you select as a DStock, and data field you select as a DCT. That's it. Save it. For the radio button control. If I open this form, the general tab page, you can see the radio button control. Okay. As you can see, all the controls, all the elements at a time, the none option is not mandatory in the radio button control. None is mandatory only in the drop down, because the first element it will show it as a none. But in the radio button, all the elements can be seen at a time. None is not mandatory in the radio button control. So what I will do is, in the radio button control, okay, we have a property called hide first entry. This is available on the radio button control. Click here and say yes. Hide first entry as yes. So what happens is, the first element will be hidden. What is the first element in the DCT? The first element is a none in the DCT. That will be hidden. You see this? The first element is hidden. Okay? Just a minute, I got a call. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here, this is the radio button control. So for the radio button control, you can hide the first enter, but it is not hidden in the drop down. In the drop down, it will be like that only. Only we have hidden in the radio button control. Radio button control, we can make it as a horizontal also. Right now it is vertical, you can make it as a horizontal also by placing the columns S3. Okay. Now, if you see these options, the enum options, what are enum options you are giving? We have the three types of enums here. We have the availability enum, and we have the DCT for the drop down, and we have the radio button. And for the radio button, we are using the same DCT only. We will see how they are stored in the database.
Banu, I have one question. How we can show the radio buttons in first tab? That is overview tab.
I told you already, right? Radio button we cannot show on the grid.
Oh, sorry.
Radio button, the grid will not accept the radio button. That is the reason I have placed in the general tab page. Okay. The dynamics, tables, start from D stock. See here, the radio buttons, the availability and DCT, they are stored as a integers here. See the DCT. 1, 2, 3. The first element is Hyderabad, second element is Chennai, third element is Bangalore. In the availability also, it's checked, unchecked, and checked. Okay. The enum that we create in the dynamics, that will be created, that will be stored here as an integer. Here we can see the table, dstock table. This is a dstock table. These are the columns we have created. We have created the stock ID, stock name, quantity, amount, this one, order date. Availability, we have created a enum, but here in the SQL server it will store as an integer value. DCT also enum, which here is storing the integer values. Okay. Srinivas.
Yes, Banu.
Okay.
Banu,
Manu, where are the original values saved?
Sorry?
And where are the original values of the enum saved? Like the list of enum. I mean, if we have given 3 cities, right? Hyderabad, Chennai, those values, where they will be saved?
Those are saved as a integer values, right? 1, 2, 3. Those are nothing but, suppose if you say 1 or 2 or 3, in the real time environment, what you'll get is, if you say 2 means, you'll get it as a Chennai when you're writing a query.
Okay, so the database doesn't know what the real values are, right? Just the
Database
0, 1.
doesn't. Database know only because you see here, if I say DCT, if you open the DCT, okay, here the element enum value is 0, it is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, when you are writing a query on this enum, if you say 3 means, the enum value 3 means, it will understand it is it has a Bangalore. If I say Chennai means, if I say 2 means, it will understand the value as a Chennai. If you are writing a query. Okay.
Okay, so if you have like say a list of 50 cities, then there is no way that you can do it from database, and you have to write all the 50 names as enum here.
Yeah, you can do that to the database. That is also there.
Okay.
See, that is what I told you. Somebody has the same question. If you click on
Okay,
the
got
one
it, yeah.
drop, if you click on one drop down, how will you get the values in the other drop down? Okay, the drop down values, if you have in the database, you can write it to the query, and that can be filled in the drop down.
Yeah, got it, got it.
Okay. Okay, this is a way how we can place the controls on the forms. Okay, and tomorrow we'll see the other topic.
Anu, I have one question. Okay, if I want to save those values in database, like like city name instead of enum, how can I do that one?
But again, we have to create one more table, and that has to be processed through the X++ coding.
Okay.
That
So-
has to be done through the X++ coding.
So directly we cannot do.
Directly we can't do
Okay.
because it is a enumerator.
Okay. Okay, Banu, could you please forward some material?
Sure, I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Banu, thank you.
Okay, fine. Catch you tomorrow then. Okay.
Bye.
Fine. Bye.